for every 1.5 million they're glad they're making, there's 6.5 million that they've thrown down the toilet. And I would like for you, sir, I forget your name, the host.
Gary?
Yes, I would like for you, and you're doing a very good job as well, by the way, and I would like for you, if you have the opportunity, to give Representative Brenda Landwehr on your show on this subject, or Senator Susan Hagel. She talked before the Sedgwick County Commission, and her speech was overwhelming, and I think that you would have a very good show if you can get her on your show.
Excellent.
But the irony is, you always hear well, they're taking our money elsewhere. No, they're wasting money. Understand what this is. This is not, well, they're taking money somewhere. They're wasting money. And for every person that says, well, I can control myself, I can control this, you'll find 100 out there that cannot control it, and they're always ends up at the mercy of society.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that you got to figure out, is a few extra jobs worth a whole lot more crime, corruption, and society troubles for this town.
Right.
That's very well put. And he brings up an issue that we haven't talked about yet. We talked about the Indian casino. The other proposals that have come through Topeka in the last year have all been for state-owned casinos. This means that the state would own the casino, would profit from the casino, would also be responsible for regulating the casino. All of the bills that were introduced in the last session of the legislature, and the bill that was attempted to be introduced in this special session, were all for state-owned casinos. There's no other state in the United States that owns and operates casinos.
Yeah, and I would, and taking that, for every caller that says they want a state-owned casino here, I would say, oh, you like those neon lights, huh? On Central. You know, that's where they spend their money on that they've raised. While you put your bills and your house payments and your car payments and your food and your clothing and your children's education on hold, and bring that to bear to tax society, so you can go out and put your family on luck.
You know, Jimmy, let me answer this question. You know, gambling, it's a habit. So the gambler is gonna gamble, whether it's in Wichita or in Tulsa, right? So I'm just looking at it. I'm trying to be fair here. So what we're saying here, I'm hearing you. I think what you're saying is building a casino in this area will increase the number of gamblers.
Well, sure. I'll give you an example. I've gambled. You know, it's a fun thing to do. I go to the horse track with a friend of mine, and he'll spend $300 or $400, and I'll stop myself at $20 or $25. But every time I stop myself at $20, $25, I say that's enough. I'll take 3 or 4 steps. I'll go, oh, one more. That's the beginning of addiction.
That is correct. That's correct. Well, Jimmy, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Regina?
Yes, I can go both ways on this subject. I think that it's foolish to say that it wouldn't create jobs, but the problem is there are already jobs if people want to work at them. They just have to not be so picky. If you need a job, you will work. I guess my question is, though, how are we saying that this casino is going to be any different than the horse track or the dog track with the horse racing and everything else that you can bet on there? It created a lot of jobs and so far has not presented any problem in the community. It hasn't increased suicide or crime or anything like that.
Well,
I would make it worse.
They've done a study in Missouri, and it has been proven that it does increase the suicide rate. That's in Missouri. Also, as well as we do have studies here that has proven that in Las Vegas, the number of suicide cases are 4 times more than any other place in the country.
Okay. Was there a study done in Wichita or in Kansas before our casinos were here, or in Wichita before the dog and horse track come in, to say that this casino is going to increase it any more than that facility already has?
The Wichita Downtown Development Corporation study, which was published in, I think it was April of 2004, addressed the casino. That is after the racetrack, the dog track was already here. And it does state that there would be between 5,200 and 7,800 new pathological gamblers created by the establishment of a casino here. So it would have a tremendous impact.
You know, one other thing I would like to share here, usually if you look at the other cities, we take a baseline. You know, that's a baseline to any study you want to do.
Okay. Were there any studies done here before the dog track went in?
I do not have any information about that. I don't know.
Maybe that's something good for you guys to find out, because I'm sure there are some data on suicide and why they've committed suicide, and off that you guys can maybe build your case.
Well, I know that the suicide rate is quoted from the pathological gamblers, and all addictive behavior has a risk of suicide, but pathological gambling carries a risk higher than any other addiction, to drugs, to alcohol, to any other type of addiction. And it's 1 in 5, 20% of pathological gamblers attempt to commit suicide. That's a very high troubling rate. And the very troubling aspect is that's the overall number. If you look at the teen and youth gamblers that run risk of pathological gambling, approximately 4 to 8% of all gamblers that are in that 18 to 25 year range will become pathological gamblers. That's well studied and well shown number. Their attempted suicide rate is about twice that of adults. So you're talking about a tremendous risk to our youth.
So I guess we're saying that because it's in our backyard and more people can get to it that couldn't get out of town, it will present a greater problem?
That's right. The biggest problem with addiction is accessibility. The easier it is to get to the item to which you are addicted, the greater number of people are going to have a problem with it. That's exactly correct.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. Have a good evening. Michael?
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
All right, how y'all doing?
Pretty good.
I have a couple of questions real quick.
Okay.
Do you have any studies showing how the Wichita Greyhound Park has went down in attendance since it first opened? And if it was so great, well, why wouldn't that fix all the problems? And second of all, I have another question, a statement actually about, I heard an analyst say and describe gambling as legalized thievery by mutual consent. Would that be a good observation on that? You think